Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an upload, and join the conversation over at the Agranak Cult Discord. Alright, today we're going to be taking a look at Black Sword Hack Ultimate Chaos Edition by Kobayashi.
Yeah, this is produced by the Merry Mushman. When I got this, it not only came with the PDF, but I also got the main book, and it comes with a periodical zine, which has some adventures and whatnot in it. I haven't looked through this yet, so we're not going to be taking a look at this. We're really just going to focus in on the game today. This game is inspired heavily by the flavor and themes found in the works of Robert E. Howard, Michael Moorcock,
Carl Edward Wagner's Kane series, Fritz Leiber's Lankmar, and Jack Vance's Dying Earth.
This is old school dark fantasy. There's 110 pages here in all, and everything you need is in this book. And you know that it's meant to be played at the tabletop rather than on D&D Beyond because there's character sheets in the back.
Is that because the new D&D 2024 Player's Handbook doesn't have a character sheet?
Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories coming out about that, saying that Wizards of the Coast doesn't want you to have a character sheet because they want you on D&D Beyond.
Nah. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
The art is by Goran Gligovic. I hope I'm saying that right. I love some things here. Not only the dark sort of tone that is with the art, but even some quotes throughout. There is no truth but that of eternal struggle. Michael Moorcock, The Weird of the White Wolf.
Nice, I really dig that picture too.
Yeah, that armored guy. These pages are not matte, they are glossy, which speaks of high quality. I just don't personally like gloss, but that's my own preference.
It says here, many thanks to David Black for creating and sharing the Black Hack. There would be no Black Sword Hack without him.
So with that, it seems to be, and I believe it is, it's very much influenced, has that Black Hack engine with that wonderful dark fantasy sort of vibe. Table of contents. And it gets right to the rules on page 12. And it gets right into something that you don't normally see in a rules section. And it talks about turns.
Yeah, that is weird. Usually turns in different games are interpreted different ways. And it's nice for them to establish what a turn is up front.
And it even goes into the examples here. Here are a few examples. I want to do some shopping, and goes into what a turn looks like if you're just doing some shopping. I'd like to do some research and what that looks like. And then obviously it talks about combat and how when it's your turn, then that is a turn also.
All right, this is a roll under system, which means if you hit the number that your attribute is or go over, you fail. But if you roll under your attribute score, then you succeed.
Yeah, it even talks about succeeding at a cost. Like maybe you rolled over your attribute. It's not a natural 20, so it's not a critical failure. But you can succeed at a cost. So like if you're climbing, you don't fall off the cliff, but you lose your sword or another important item.
So it's constantly pushing the story forward.
Yeah. The game has advantage and disadvantage, which you probably know if you are watching this video. And it has this thing called usage die, which is really interesting concept. I haven't played with it, but it seems really cool.
Yeah, it says in the rules that it's sort of a push your luck mechanic.
There are games like Forbidden Lands that use a utility or a equipment die, which shows your supply and all that, and it actually calls that out in this book. And I love the way it states it. Let me read it. Some games use this mechanic to manage concrete resources like rations or arrows. Not so in Black Sword Hack. Counting 20 arrows is not rocket science, nor is recording the use of a week's worth of rations. I couldn't agree more.
So what's it used for?
So it gives an example, like during the campaign, the GM thinks that an NPC or mercenary owes a debt to one of the player characters who saved their life. The GM decides to represent the debt as a D6 usage die. What does this mean? Each time the PC asks the mercenary for help, they roll the debt usage die. Once the die is depleted, the mercenary will consider their debt paid and will no longer help the character for free.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pay him now, huh?
Yeah. So, and the usage dies are usually like at D6. Sometimes you can bump that up, depending on different circumstances. But you have basically D20, D12, D10, D8, D6, D4. Again, most of them start at D6. If you roll a 1 or a 2, that drops down to a D4. You roll a 1 or a 2 again, and then you have depleted your usage. There are zoned distances, which are close, nearby, far away, and distant, which are great.
Yeah, the Doom die is really interesting too.
Yeah, over here in this section. I love this. Roll the die, subtract from your die roll. The die goes down depending on what you start with, usually a D6. Once the Doom die is depleted, you now roll with disadvantage for all tests.
I love these sort of rules. Gives the players options to succeed, but limits it. It goes with that dark fantasy theme.
Combat is player-facing, so the players at the table are rolling 99% of the dice. So not only do you attack, you also make defense rolls to determine if your character gets hit.
Alright, that's cool.
Being that the characters are more heroic, once they reach 0 hit points, they are not dead, but out of combat. They then roll a d6 to determine their effect, from scratched, gaining a new scar, or killed on a 6 if they roll a 6.
So it's like death saves, only way cooler.
Yeah, I would say so. So here's character creation. These are the attributes that you know and love from the Ampersand game.
Strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma.
Yeah, and you roll 2d6 to determine the attribute. You go down the line in order. You basically get a number between 8 and 13. That is your number. Roll under that.
Nice and simple.
This is a classless system, so you start off with an origin. Barbarian, civilized, or decadent.
Really reminds me of Fritz Leiber.
Yeah, especially with Farfoot and the Grey Mauser, and obviously the Mauser would have been civilized, and Farfoot would be the barbarian. Depending on where you were born, it gives you options to kind of fill in that background. Cool. Really cool ideas here.
Here's specific backgrounds for each origin. Barbarian, civilized, and decadent.
Yeah, so for the barbarian, you can choose shaman, storyteller, civilized, a bookworm, a street urchin, decadent, a changeling, pit fighter, or warlock even.
Nice, so these are kind of like classes.
Well, they're more like frameworks to go by.
Very cool.
Equipment section, price list for the equipment. Now, here's something interesting. The experience is really cool. That after you have so many sessions, you level up, but your levels are titled by the story or the adventure that you just completed. Almost like a chapter in a book.
Yeah, it says each time a character survives an adventure, they gain a story. Write down the title of the adventure on your character sheet. Characters gain a level once they have a number of stories equal to their current level. The maximum level a character can reach is 10.
Yeah, nice and simple. Here's the breakdown. +1 to an attribute, maximum score of 18, +1 HP. At the following level, you gain a gift, which are outlined there. Dark packs. Now, this is the magic that is in here, and you're going to have a background that allows you to do magic over here. So the magic in here come in different flavors. Demonic pacts, which are for the warlock. The spirit alliances, which are for the shaman. Sorcery, the forbidden knowledge background. And then also fairy ties for the changeling. And twisted science for the inventor background. And it even tells you to kind of limit it to gain a more focus on your game. Use responsibly, it says. Choosing only a couple will make your game more strongly themed, which I think is great advice, but it does give you options.
Yeah, less is more, right?
Absolutely. With the demonic pacts, depending on the demon that you call up, gives you certain effects. So fear, you learn your target's deepest fear. On a roll of 1, which is a natural 20, a critical success, they learn your deepest fear as well.
So it's less high magic and high fantasy magic and more middle of the road, obviously dark fantasy.
Uh-huh. You nailed it. Some of these spirit alliances, let's read one. Fire spirit. An existing fire can be manipulated, doubled in size, given any shape or form, moved around, etc. It can inflict d6 damage, and then user dies 6 ongoing damage. A roll of 1 makes the target fire die.
Alright, cool. So instead of like having fireball, you can manipulate fire instead.
Yeah. Here's sorcery. It actually talks about how you should make only NPC sorcerers, but still has the option available for your players to have sorcery.
Yeah, that sort of leans into the dark theme, doesn't it?
Fireflies. You call forth a swarm of fireflies that gives as much light as a torch. They disappear at the slightest sign of violence.
Cool, cool. Low magic. Love it.
Tongue thief. You can speak up to 6 words through the mouth of your target.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's very inspiring. Fairy ties. We won't go through all of these. Twisted science. Here's a cool section. Runic weapons. You can roll up a runic weapon and give it a personality. Let's roll up on one right now. I got an 11. Flail of Withering 4. Winter. The Flail of Withering Winter.
I love that title.
Yeah. The weapon inflicts damage equal to one of the wielder's attributes, and it would be 4. Intelligence.
Nice.
And then you can keep on going to really flesh out these runic weapons. Really cool. Here's the bestiary. Nice things to hunt and kill and fight with.
Can never have enough of those.
And then it goes into creating your own world.
This is a section that I really enjoy. You don't have to look elsewhere. You can roll up your world here.
Yeah, it goes into your overarching theme of your campaign. Is the main antagonist tied to the forces of law, or is the villain serving chaos? And you can roll on these different charts and really flesh out a great campaign pretty darn quick. Talks about the struggle.
And really within this game, it's about the coming doom of the end, kind of in Murkboy.
So we know that the end is nigh. That's kind of the theme here. It's dark fantasy, and you can roll on these different things like what is a natural disaster that might be affecting and or coming as an impending doom. 5. Unending rain and floods. That could be scary. Maybe there's a plague. 9. Causes blindness or a political event. 11. Invasion.
Wow, that didn't take long at all, and you've already got some great seeds to go off of.
Yeah, it is really cool. And here are some adventure seeds.
Gotta love that.
Yeah, a bunch of them, pages worth. Let's see. You can create your own city. Birth of a city. You can give it a name. Here's a D20, and it's an 18. Alisar is the name of the city. And you can figure out who the people are, who's in power, what is the city known for. Great tables here. And then you have adventures. The Dark Seeds, Slayers of the Blood God, and then an actual city to be a part of called Heimdallr, Port of the North.
So you really have a huge tool chest, even though this is packed in 110 pages.
Yeah, it's great. The appendices here, running the game, great advice here for running the game. So I thought this section was really cool. There are quotes from different dark fantasy authors, and then a little piece of advice that's baked in. Do you want to read this?
Yeah, here's one from Michael Moorcock. In an imperfect world, the mysteries were always without solution, and that was why there was always a great choice of solutions.
And then the advice is, as a GM, throw a lot of problems at your players, but don't ever come up with pre-made solutions for them. What a great piece of advice.
Here's solo adventure rules.
This is such a great book. I can't believe it. Everything that you need, even solo adventure rules. Very, very cool. Well thought out. Bibliography.
Using your favorite sword and sorcery book as a plot generator.
Yeah, and it gives you instructions on how to do that there. Here's an oracle. Those of you familiar with solo play know about oracles, but I find that oracles are awesome for live play as well with multiple players. And then friendly NPCs in combat, the allies oracle as well, and just rolling a d6 to find out whether they attack, defend, fail, or any of that, or even take damage. Does the bestiary not have enough creatures for you? Roll up some weird one real quick. Strange planes, names by origin. It's always great to have names. I think out of all the D&D supplements that I got for 5e, Xanathar's Guide to Everything that had the names in the back, that's the one that I actually used. I used the names. I was always looking for names. So it's great to have this back here in the appendix.
More awesome art right there, and the beautiful character sheet. Nothing over the top, nice and simple, and different versions of it.
Yeah, you got the small version, horizontal version, and then a full page version, which is really a half page itself. And this book is an A5 size, so nice digest size. Glossary in the back, more awesome art. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. I may do some solo play and get the feel for it. Yeah, let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that.
Yeah, leave that in the comments.
So there's going to be a link to this in the description. The Black Sword Hack, I got it for £44. So it ended up being like, I don't know, $50 or something for this other zine, this introductory zine, as well as all of the PDFs. I thought it was a great deal. Very, very much highly recommended. Go out and get it. And if you just want the PDF, it's cheaper still.
All right, everyone. Thanks for stopping by Agranak Studios today. We'll see you on the next one.
Later. This video was brought to you by the generous support of our patrons. Consider becoming a patron so you can help us make more content like this. Or get yourself a t-shirt below. Later.
All right, do this and do that and do this and do that. And watch this video.